My first backpacking trip felt fine until I could no longer feel my shoulders. That trip wrecked me, and here's exactly what I'd change. Most backpackers assume that gear equals readiness, but after over 100 solo backpacking trips and plenty of painful pack choices, I can tell you it's not always about what you bring, it's how your system works together. My first loadout was solid on paper, well-reviewed gear, full featured, but it left me slow, sore, and scrambling every day on trail. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact mistakes I made with my early pack setup and the real fixes that finally made hiking feel better. And if you're into gear that actually works, not just what looks good online, I share pack setups and real trail systems that earn their place, so hit subscribe if that sounds useful. So let's start with the part that I got wrong right out of the gate, my backpack itself. I walked into REI as a complete newbie, and a well-meaning associate suggested the Gregory Baltoro 70. Great build, but it's a 70-liter pack that weighs 6 pounds empty. I went ahead and bought it, not realizing how much that mistake would compound over the miles, pressure points, bad balance, constant shoulder fatigue. I just wasn't in good enough shape as a beginner to rock a full 70-liter, 6-pound backpack. The real fix, I swapped that pack for a Gregory Optic 48, which is a sub 3-pound pack that is still supportive, but half the weight and way more efficient than that original Baltoro 70, at least for me. And the difference was instant. Smoother days, less shoulder pain, and a better center of gravity overall. Lesson learned, don't let starter gear become your default gear, especially when it feels like it's pulling you off trail every mile. All right, so I got a little overambitious with the whole ultralight thing. I wanted to get even lighter than my Gregory Optic 48, so I bought a 35-liter frameless pack because that's what I saw in all the ultralight videos. And yeah, it looked great sitting on the ground, but on my back, I felt like I was dragging a sandbag with shoulder straps. With no frame, no structure, it was just all that weight riding on the worst possible pressure points. The problem was not the pack. It was that my kit wasn't ready for a frameless system. So I went back to my lightweight framed pack, and over the years, I've learned that that's basically the sweet spot for me. Light enough to carry comfortably, but the benefit of a frame and a suspension system that keeps even heavier loads feeling good. And looking back, a big part of that struggle wasn't just bad gear, it was bad planning, like trying to carry a huge pack on a trail that I wasn't ready for. And if you're in that spot, figuring out what kind of trip your gear actually works for, I made a free backpacking route planning toolkit. It helps you map out your daily mileage, dial in a safe route, and actually match your setup to the trail. It's free and it's linked below. All right, my first overnight trip, I packed 2 jackets, one down jacket and one synthetic because I might get cold. I also brought an extra pair of pants, which I never wore, and a long sleeve hiking shirt that sat folded at the bottom of my pack the whole trip. I didn't fully understand how the layering system worked, or that most of the time while backpacking, you're basically wearing the same outfit the whole trip. Once I started building a proper layering system, base, mid, insulation, shell, everything got simpler. One set of layered hiking clothes and one sleep shirt. Now, if I get cold, I put on another layer. If a piece of clothing gets wet, it dries out. Bringing a set of backup pants was just dead weight. So when I first got into backpacking, I had this idea that if I just got cheap gear, I'd be fine. I built out an entire kit for under a few $100. It looked good on paper, and honestly, it did work for a couple trips. My tent weighed over 5 pounds. My foam pad that I got from Walmart provided barely any insulation when the temps dropped. And my cook kit was a set of humongous pots and pans that had no right being in a backpacking kit. Those early trips with my ultra budget setup turned into slow gear breakdowns. Eventually, I ended up replacing basically all of it and spent more overall than if I had just invested in a few high impact pieces up front. I still don't go premium on everything, but now I splurge where it matters. Shelter, quilt, pad, my down jacket, and my pack. That shift from budget light to quality light meant I finally stopped thinking about my gear and just focused on the trail. All right, so I tried to be tough. I told myself that foam sleep pads were simple, reliable, and ultralight. And for some people, they are, but I'm a side sleeper. And after 2 nights twisting around on a Thermarest Z-Lite, which is what I replaced my Walmart pad with, I realized that I wasn't saving weight, I was just losing sleep. I'd wake up sore, half frozen, and more tired than when I went to bed. That setup made perfect sense when I planned it, but it completely broke down on real terrain. So I gave up the bravado and switched to a thick, inflatable pad, the Neo Air X-Lite. I added a tiny inflatable pillow, which felt a little indulgent at first, but suddenly I could actually sleep. And that changed everything. Better recovery, stronger mornings, fewer groggy mistakes. It's kind of wild how much more enjoyable the trail becomes when you're not stumbling through it in a daze. The foam pad does work for some people, but it wasn't for me. So I didn't think that gear organization and accessibility was a real issue until I found myself pulling off my pack every 30 minutes while hiking just to dig out snacks or sunscreen. My gloves were buried way down under my quilt, my map was shoved into my clothes bag for some reason, and every time I stopped to dig something out, it wasn't just time lost, it was the mental flow of hiking being disrupted. I'd tighten my straps, start walking again, and realize, oops, I forgot my lip balm, and now I need to do it all over again. That kind of micro annoyance adds up, especially on long, challenging days. Now, I use 2 different storage solutions on the outside of my pack. I have a Z-Pack shoulder pouch for my phone, sunscreen, and lip balm, and I have an extra hip belt pouch for my gloves, beanie, headlamp, or other larger items. I also hike in shorts now with side cargo pockets. That's where I'll put things like a folded bandana or my map. All of these components allow me to have access to pretty much anything I'll need during the day while hiking so that I never have to take off my pack unless I want to. The less I stop, the smoother the day feels. It's a small change, but it has a big payoff, especially when you're chasing miles or racing daylight. And another lesson I learned about organization, I used to roll into camp hungry, cold, maybe wet, and then spend 15 chaotic minutes digging through my pack trying to figure out what to do first. Some nights I'd filter water before pitching the tent. Other times I'd start cooking only to realize I hadn't even set up my shelter and my gear was getting damp from the evening mist. There was zero flow to my camp setup. And when weather hit, wind, rain, or it just got dark sooner than I realized, I paid for it. Now I've got a system dialed in and it's not complicated. My tent goes up first, that gives me shelter to work in. Then I throw down my pad, inflate it, drop in my quilt, and that's home base. After that, I either filter water or cook depending on what my immediate needs are for that day. And my pack is arranged to match that order. Everything I need comes out in sequence. It's a subtle thing, but it completely changed my experience setting up camp every night. Now, you'll probably still make some of your own mistakes, and honestly, that's part of the fun of backpacking. But if any of my regrets save you from a painful trip or help you enjoy your time out there just a little more, then it's worth sharing. And if gear regret has been your thing lately, check out this video next. It breaks down my full gear loadout for short trips and what I actually keep versus what I ditched. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you out there.